Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania, covered it all here on Robert's Port Show, and we'll cover it all in the next 5 days, 7 days. So with the GCW Collective, with this Palm Slam Fest, with the Shooting Star Fest, we also have Future Stars of Wrestling. They got 3 big shows, 18 matches in all. On Friday night, the 16th, they have, or Thursday the 16th, excuse me. On Thursday the 16th, they have FSW ID Showcase. They have the WWE ID guys and gals there. The main event is going to be champion Starboy Kaz Hall taking on Marcus Mathers. I'm looking forward to that. 2 kind of Lucha Libre guys. Better these guys do, especially like Starboy Charlie and some of those guys, when they get ID'd, I look at it as a net positive for the professional wrestling industry, and here's why. When you have a guy like Starboy Kaz Hall go into the WWE network of training and whatnot, he's able to go to the Performance Center, he's able to learn a different style, he's able to learn a different format of matches and everything, and just bringing in that information that he can only put in his matches when he wrestles like Marcus Mathers, when he wrestles other people, but then he can also, that style and that what he's bringing into that match now, that information and training can rub off on the Marcus Mathers. Now he can also make their other matches better as well. So now we're making the independence wrestling a little bit better because of that extra training and extra knowledge and whatnot. And I think the better professional wrestling is from the bottom to the top, top to the bottom, the better it is all the way around. When we have a WWE, an AEW, and a TNA flourishing at the top, and WWE is at its highest, that also brings up the lowest of independent companies as well, because you have this ID stuff now. You have, wrestlers that wrestle on the indie scene that maybe watch these shows or know people, and they learn from what they see and hear in the business, and it makes those other independent companies a little bit better as well. But also the same thing is when we have a lull in the top, when WWE isn't at its highest, and WWE is kind of on a downward swing, it also kind of pendulums down to the indies as well. So the better the independents do, the better WWE and AEW, TNA, and all of them do, and vice versa. The better they do, the better the lower companies do. And having the AEWs of the world working with New Japan, working with CMLL, Rev Pro, and having that talent able to funnel in through to AEW on TV, and then we see that talent going into Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. They're trying to make a comeback there in Canada as well. So yeah, I just think all that kind of together makes what professional wrestling is. A lot of people take vacation time in March to sit on the couch and watch basketball all day on Thursdays and Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays because of March Madness. I do it for wrestling and watch WrestleMania shows, all these shows here. So we had that ID show on Friday night. We also have Thursday, Timothy Thatcher and Sam Holloway. So that could be a good match as well. The foreman of Evolve, Timothy Thatcher. And then on Friday, we have FSW Killer Kross presents Mecca 6 Killer Instinct. We have the Romanian Pro Wrestling World Title, Killer Kross taking on Zelfatu. TJP versus Jonathan Gresham. Bad Dude Tito versus Hammerstone versus Richard Holiday. Which this match, if you follow wrestling for a while, years ago back in MLW, Major League Wrestling, there was a faction. I can't remember the name of the faction right now, but it was Hammerstone, Richard Holiday, and Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Well, when Max left to go to AEW, left Richard Holiday and Hammerstone, Richard Holiday kind of treated Hammerstone kind of like a slave almost. And so they ended up breaking up, and they feuded for a little bit. Now they're in 3-way tag. So I'm thinking there's going to be some animosity there. So this could be a good spot for Big Dude Tito to kind of step in and get a victory there. Big Dude Tito actually also wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling, a lot of their American stuff. He was part of the NJPW of America. So he does some things on Strong back when we had it. And then we have Brian Cage versus Gringo Loco versus Resportio, which could be one talented, powerful dude in Brian Cage taking on 2 luchadors. All kinds of fun. And then on Saturday we have FSW Killer Kross Natural Born Killers 5 Hostile Territory. On that show we have Shayna Baszler taking on Janai Kai. We have Jonathan Gresham taking on Matt Riddle. and TJP taking on Gregory Sharp. A little WWE flair there as well. There is going to be 66 shows in Vegas from 3 o'clock tomorrow through WrestleMania Sunday. That's not including SmackDown, just actual independent shows, 66 of them. It is virtually impossible to watch every show when it's on. I don't know anyone that could possibly do it because I don't think they're all even on TV. But yeah, I'm going to watch as many as I can. I'm going to recap as many as I can. And the Shooting Star Press, the Collective, the Future Stars of Wrestling, each cluster, I'm going to do a best of the cluster as well. Again, much as I can between now and Tuesday. Take a couple extra days there to kind of catch up toward the end. Monday Night Raw, obviously the Monday Night Raw for Mania is always huge. SmackDown leading into the Mania is going to be huge. We have AEW this week, so yeah, lots of wrestling this week. I'll get the preview of WrestleMania up later in the week. We know the main events. We know most of the cards. I think we know the whole card for now. But yeah, 2 huge main events there with Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, and then Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. So to cap off the weekend. So it's going to be a monster weekend in Vegas for wrestling. Do all the recaps I can. That is the preview of Future Stars of Wrestling. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show, from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Don't just have a great day, have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.